Hi everyone, and welcome to the Part 5 on AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner series. So let's get started. So the question number one is that which AWS service can be used at no additional cost? And the options are option A, AWS configuration, option B, AWS organizations, option C, AWS SageMaker, and option D, Amazon CloudWatch. And the correct option is AWS organization. So what is AWS organization? So AWS organization is an account management service that enables you to consolidate multiple AWS account into an organization that you create and centrally manage. And these are the feature of AWS organization. It provides a centralized management and it helps consolidate billing for all the member accounts, and it gives you a hierarchical grouping of all your accounts as well as implementing the centralized policies. So these are the features of AWS organization. And if we can see it through a visual, so here let's suppose we have the root account which manages or control all the account. Then we have made multiple organizational units, the core, infrastructure, and security. And then inside each, we have again accounts related to database, network, shared, audit, etc. So this whole architecture, this is done through AWS organization, and this gives a hierarchical grouping, such as the root is at the top, and then these OUs, and at the end, the end user accounts. So this is the concept of AWS organization, and it is at no additional cost. It can be used without any additional cost. So let's get to the question number two. An e-commerce company wants to make an upfront commitment for continued use of its production Amazon EC2 instances in exchange for a reduced overall cost. Which pricing option meet these requirements with the lowest cost? And we have to choose two options. So if an organization want to make a commitment for continuous usage of EC2 instances for a specific or for long-term commitment, then what are the most cost-effective option? And the options are option A, on-demand instances, option B, saving plans, option C, reserved instances, and option D, spot instances. And the correct options are saving plans and the reserved instances. So what are those? So the reserved instances, it provides a significant discount of up to 75% compared to on-demand pricing in exchange for a one-time upfront payment and or a lower hourly rate. The more you commit, the greater the discount. And the saving plans offer flexible pricing and saving on your AWS usage with discount up to 72% compared to on-demand pricing. With saving plans, you commit to a certain amount of usage measured in dollars per hour for a 1 or 3 years term and receive a lower rate for that usage. So these are the two correct options, the saving plans and the reserved instances. Question number three is that a company wants to migrate its on-premises relational database to AWS Cloud. The company wants to use infrastructure as close to its current geographical location as possible. Which AWS service or resource should the company use to select its Amazon RDS deployment area? RDS is Relational Database Service. So the company wants to use the RDS as close to its geographical location as possible, and the options are AWS Direct Connect, option B, AWS Wavelength, option C, Amazon Connect, and option D, Amazon Region. And the correct option is Amazon Region. So this is a geographical location, and user can select the nearest Amazon region so that his RDS deployment is closest to his on-premise location. And what is AWS regions? So to select the deployment area or geographic location for Amazon RDS, the company should use AWS regions. AWS regions are physical locations around the world where AWS clusters data centers. Each AWS region is entirely independent and isolated from other AWS regions to achieve the greatest possible fault tolerance and stability. And this is a visual view of AWS regions. These are spread all over the world, and that's why we call it AWS region. Let's suppose this is a region. Uh, this region may be called depending upon this geographical location. Then again, here, this is, I think, Australia. We have a region over here, and so on. So that is the concept of AWS region. And if you want to locate or deploy your services closest to your location, let's suppose if there is a customer over here, then the closest location may be this one, and selecting this region can give the customer the closest geographical region. Question number 4 is that a company is exploring the use of AWS Cloud and needs to create a cost estimate for a project before the infrastructure is provisioned. Which AWS service or feature can be used to estimate cost before deployment? And the options are A. AWS price calculator, B. AWS free tier, C. AWS cost and usage reports, and D. AWS billing and cost management. So if you want to, if you are planning for AWS deployment or AWS usage of AWS services, and you want to calculate the cloud, the price before you deploy the services, then which option can be used? And the correct option is the AWS pricing calculator. So what is AWS pricing calculator? This is just an overview of a screenshot of the AWS pricing calculator. So here, let's suppose if the user wants to deploy a Linux instance and a 30 GB SSD. And so these are the costs, the monthly cost. This is the monthly cost. There are no upfront cost. And the total is here for these two services. There will be total of $79.14 monthly cost. And this also gives, the calculator also gives you the 12-month or yearly cost of these resources usage. So the calculator can give you the estimate, upfront estimate, or the future estimate of your AWS resources usage, and then you can decide depending upon your requirement and budget availability. Question number 5 is that a media company is building an application that needs to deliver images and videos globally with minimum latency. Which approach can the company use to accomplish this in a cost-effective manner? And the options are: option A is deliver the content through AWS private link. Option B is deliver the content through Amazon CloudFront. Option C is store the content on Amazon S3 and enable S3 cross-region replication. And option D is implement a VPN across multiple AWS regions. And the correct option is deliver the content through AWS or through Amazon CloudFront if you want minimum latency and you have the content such as images and videos. So what is Amazon CloudFront? Amazon CloudFront is a content delivery network or CDN that helps you distribute your static and dynamic content quickly and reliably with high speed. So let's view it visually. And here, let's suppose if a user, this is a user and user traffic, and the what is the Amazon CloudFront? So the Amazon CloudFront has edge location or edge nodes where the content are cached in server. So if this user wants to access something, he will be routed to the nearest Amazon CloudFront where the server may have the cached content, and he will be delivered this content instantly without delay or without going all the way to the Amazon data center where the data is actually located. So that's why this is known as a cloud front, because they are located at the doorstep or at the nearest location to the user, where there are servers, cache servers that caches the different data content so that they can be delivered instantly without latency and delay to the end user. Question number 6 is that which of the following is a software development framework that a company can use to define cloud resources as code and provision the resources through Amazon Cloud Formation? And the options are option A, AWS Developer Center, option B, AWS Cloud Development Kit, option C, AWS CLI, and option D, AWS Code Star. And the correct option is the AWS Cloud Development Kit. So using the AWS Cloud Development Kit, the user can provision resources through a software or through application. And what is the AWS Development Kit? So here this is a visual view. The user can write mm, code in these different languages such as Python, JavaScript, Java, etc. And using this CDK application, the user can then provision resources through AWS Cloud Front using the written template and using the Amazon constructs. So this is a visual view of using the CDK application to provision resources through Amazon Cloud Formation. Question number 7 is that a company is developing an application that uses multiple AWS services. The application needs to use temporary limited privilege credential for authentication with other AWS APIs. Which AWS service or feature should the company use to meet these authentication requirements? So here we are talking about limited privilege and temporary accounts, and the options are IAM, Identity and Access Management Users. Option B, AWS Security Token Service, AWS STS. Option C, AWS API Gateway. And option D, IAM Instant Profiles. And the correct option is that the user can use AWS Security Token Service or AWS STS to provision temporary and low privileged account. This is a visual of this service. Here the user can provision these accounts through this STS, AWS STS, and he or she can use the temporary account for limited time period and with limited security credential. Question number 8 is that which AWS service is a cloud security posture management service that aggregates alerts from various AWS services and partner products in a standardized format? And the options are AWS Security Hub, option B, Amazon Guard Duty, option C, Amazon Event Bridge, and option D, AWS Trusted Advisor. And the correct option is AWS Security Hub. So the AWS Security Hub is a service that aggregates alerts from various AWS services and partner products in a standardized format. And this is a visual of the AWS Security Hub. In this, we can find these different alerts from these different services such as Amazon Guard Duty, Configuration, Firewall Manager, Amazon Inspector, and using these alerts from these services, then the user can take action and conduct the user can conduct automated security checks, and then using these security checks, user can then take action upon the investigation from these different services. So this whole things happen inside the AWS Security Hub. Question number 9 is that which AWS service is always provided at no charge? And the options are Elastic Load Balancers, option B, AWS Web Application Firewall, option C, AWS Identity and Access Management, and option D, Amazon S3, or this is the Amazon storage. So the correct option is that the AWS Identity and Access Management IAM is provided with no additional cost. And what is AWS Identity and Access Management? It is a web service that helps you securely control access to AWS resources. With IAM, you can centrally manage permissions that control which AWS resources users can access. So this is in a way a centralized platform where you can manage the permissions, the users, and the resources that the users can access, and it is free of cost. Question number 10 is that an e-commerce company is planning to migrate a NoSQL database to AWS to reduce cost. Which AWS service is fully managed and can automatically scale throughput capacity to meet database workload demands? So here we are talking about NoSQL database. So which option AWS provides us to manage or to deploy or to use our NoSQL database? And the options are A, Amazon Aurora, option B, Amazon DynamoDB, option C, Amazon Redshift, and option D, Amazon RDS. RDS is Relational Database Service. So here we are not talking about relational database, we are talking about a NoSQL database. So the correct option is the Amazon DynamoDB. And what is Amazon DynamoDB? It is a fully managed NoSQL database service that provides fast and predictable performance with seamless scalability. So for a customer that wants to use a NoSQL database inside AWS, the go-to option is Amazon DynamoDB. And that's all for today. So stay tuned for the next video and see you there. Thank you and bye.